as you can see, we have a lot here. This is my blushes category. And between powder blushes and cream blushes, I actually have 104 blushes. And I think that that is absolutely absurd. And I am embarrassed by it. Now, the cream blushes I have already recorded. You guys will see that at the tail end of this one. These are my powder blushes. And as you can see, they don't all fit. So I've got some over here. I've got some over here that you guys can't see on the camera, but we're just going to go through them. There's a lot here that I feel like I could get rid of because I'm just not wearing them and don't really feel like I need them ultimately. So let's just jump in. Again, like I said, total between cream and powder, I have 104 blushes. So I can tell you right away, this one is going to go. This is my Odenzai Soulmane Sunlit Love Blusher in Rosette Love. I just feel like this one is too pigmented to be a highlighter and too highlighty to be a blush. I have a real problem with that. I don't mind a glowy blush. I don't want a highlighter pretending to be a blush in my blush collection, specifically because they are too pigmented to be a highlighter. That said, I love this component. I know that we're going to have a real hard time seeing it because of the lighting, which is impossible not to have because it's super dark outside and moody. But yeah, this has got to go. I'm not using it. I don't foresee using it. There are some brands that do it really well and some that just don't. These are also going for the same reason. These are highlighters. These are not blushes, and they're too pigmented to be a highlighter for me and my skin. So these are going also. I just bought those, so I'm really sad about that. Bought them long enough ago that I cannot refund them, but not long enough to go where they've gotten a good amount of usage, mostly because I just didn't like them, to be honest. Fenty does it really well. These will stay. These are actually such beautiful glowy blushes without competing to be a highlighter, I think is where I wanted to go with that. And I really do like them. Even the purple one I feel like looks really, really good on my cheeks, which is good because I love purple blushes. I've been obsessed with purple blushes this year, so I will hold on to those. I also think that these ones were done well as well. These are the peachy tone, kind of same thought process, the Hot Cheeks Velour Blush Lighters in Baked Peach and Juicy Peach. So that one is Juicy Peach and this one is Baked Peach. I love these blushes. They're just stunning. And this one is actually one of the Killawatt highlighter duos, but I feel like this works better on me as a blush. So that is what it is in here for. I will keep that one as well. These I'm going to declutter. These are the trios from ABH. It's easily been 2 years since I've used these. I just have better blushes in my collection now, and I don't really foresee me wearing these, so those will go. This one's going to stay. This is one of my favorite blushes. This is the Marc Jacobs Air Blush in Night Fever and Hot Stuff. And yes, I know Marc Jacobs isn't a brand anymore, but this is a powder product, and I don't foresee this going bad anytime soon. And I love this. This is one of my favorites. I think now is the time for these ones to go. I'm not using them. These are the Cover FX Monochromatic Blush Duos. I have Mojave Mauve and Warm Honey, and I literally haven't worn these in years. But I'm kind of wondering if I have less in my collection, if I would pull these out more. I'm going to hold on to them for now. We'll see how that goes. This is Juvia's Place Blushed Rouge. I really do like this blush duo. I think it's beautiful. So I am going to hold on to it, I do think. This one is my favorite blush, so I will be holding on to it. It is Flirtatious by Pat McGrath. I just obviously love me a blush. So over here in this guy, I've got 2 Sydney Grace blush like singles and 2 Ofra blush singles. And I am, except for this one, because this one is in my project pan, I'm going to get rid of all 3 of those. I just don't wear singles in blush form. I think that they're beautiful, but like, I don't know if you can tell, but these Sydney Grace ones have been in my collection for so long. I've never even touched them. There's no reason to keep them. Somebody will love those. I'm obviously not the one. I'm going to get rid of this. This is a mini from Benefit. This is Sugar Bomb, and I just don't love how my brush goes in here. Don't love how it picks up the color. Don't love the inconsistencies of it. If this was in a bigger one, I might hold on to it, but I don't love it in the mini form, so I am going to declutter that one. I am also going to declutter both of my Laura Geller blushes. This one is in Tropic Hues. Really beautiful blush, but I just have not worn it, and I have better formulas, same like iteration of color that I love better. This one is Cherry Truffle, and it's just ho-hum, so I am going to declutter both of those. I need to quit swatching because my hand is breaking out so bad. I'm gonna keep this. This is the Live Tinted Hue Beam. This is supposedly a blushing bronzer. It's more of a blush to me, and I really did like it. It is kind of deep. I think it's better for me in the summertime. I'm not sure that I can really use it at my fairest, but it is pretty, so I will hold on to it. I am going to hold on to these, all of these, because I love them and they're beautiful. These two are new shades to me. I just got them in gratis like last month or something like that, but I have Terra, which is a deep like bricky red. I have Butterfly, which is a crazy beautiful orange. I have Shelly, which is a beautiful like corally pink. We have Willa, which is a really pretty like rosy. This one is kind of shimmery, not shimmery, glowy. I have Krista, which is a really bright coral color. We have Moon, which is kind of a moody like berry. And then Pom Pom, I think, is kind of like red. And then this one is Starla. And Starla is kind of like a brownie shade. So I'll be holding on to all of these. I think that means I have all of the colors of the Benefit blushes. I think these can go as well. I don't love how powdery these are, so I never pull from them because of that. I have Becca Songbird and Flower Child. They have a really great like highlighter formula, one of my favorites, but I don't really love the Becca blush formulas. These Laura Mercier blushes, they will stay. I have Fresco, and this one is in Grapefruit. I think that this is a beautiful blush formula, and I would be sad if it wasn't in my collection. I'm not just decluttering to declutter, right? I'm decluttering because I want to only use the things that I truly love. This, I will pull for a different blush every single time. It's a pretty blush. There's nothing wrong with it, but I know myself, and I know that I will pull for a different blush every single time, which sounds snooty because I think the reason why is because this is, an Essence blush. This is a really great blush though. I am going to keep the two Buttermelt blushes, so it's not about drugstore brand versus high end. It's about that I just know that I have so many different blushes, this color in my collection, and I will pull for a different one every single time. I'm going to give this to somebody who will love it while it's still really fresh because I just got it last year in gratis. And then these two I will hold on to. Again, kind of that crazy like orange tone, really beautiful, kind of glowy blushes. This is a really beautiful formula for blush, and then a berry tone, which reminds me a lot of Terra from Benefit, only a little bit more glowy. Getting down there. I am going to declutter this one as well. This is Ofra Madison Miller, All I Need Is Love. I do like it a lot, but I think I'm going to hold on to it. This one is Ofra Bellini. I'm going to hold on to this one as well. So one's like a little bit more like mild peachiness, and this one is like more orangey peachiness. I'm going to hang on to both of those. We have House Labs. This is Watermelon Bliss. really hard blush to use, if I'm honest with you, but I love what it looks like on my face, so I'm gonna hold on to that. This one is in Watermelon Rain by Too Faced. This is one of their like blurring blushes, and while I don't think it's a blurring blush, so to speak, I do love this like berry color that I get from it, and it is so beautiful on my face, so I'm gonna keep that one. These two from Patrick Ta, these monochrome moment ones, are so beautiful. And then this one is one of the double take cream blushes. I have to look at this one like over and over and over again to make sure it's still good. You can see I use the cream one a whole lot more than I use the powder one, but they're all just so beautiful. So I will be holding on to all three of these. This is one of my favorite blushes. This is a KVD Everlasting blush in the shade Rosebud. Really kind of like an orchidy purple color. One of my favorites. I will keep it. This one is actually really pretty. This is an IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores Poreless Finish Airbrush Brightening Blush in the shade Adored. This landed in my collection once before, and I just gave it away as a new product and a giveaway. Didn't really think I needed it. I got it again in gratis, so I was like, okay, this must be a sign. I tried it out. I actually quite love this blush, so I will be keeping it. This one isn't even listed in my blushes. This one is actually listed in face powders. I don't know that it actually is even listed in face powders, though, now that I think about it, because I don't remember seeing it when I did my collection in Declutter for that one. Nope, it sure is not. Is it in my blushes? It's not in my blushes either. Okay, so we're going to put it in blushes because that's technically what it is. And I used it as a blush recently and really think it's pretty, honestly. This is the Chanel Les Terros de Chanel powder blush in the shade Lavender, and I really quite like this blush, and I love the like imprint of the cards on it. It's a pretty blush, so, and it's an expensive blush, so I will hold on to it. These two Dior blushes I will hold on to. I really like the Dior Backstage Rosy Glow blushes. I do have pink and berry, and I like them both so much. This is new to me. It's Giorgio Armani 61. This is one of the Luminous Silk blushes. Really beautiful. I think the shade name on this is Desire. This is also new to me. This is a RMS Redimension Hydra Powder Blush in the shade Pomegranate Fizz, and it's just such a beautiful glowy blush. All right, so these guys have been in my collection for forever, and I haven't pulled for them in years. So I do think it's time. You can see that they were used and abused. They were very well loved in my collection. I have Fig Pop and Heather Pop. Blushes last forever, but I do think that they've been in my collection long enough that if I were to put them on my face again, I do think that the formula is probably changed quite a bit. I guess these aren't the longest living blushes in my collection, but I don't know, you guys. I kind of want to keep them because I do just love them so much, and they are really well loved in my collection. You can't keep everything, Donna. You just can't. I love them all. I love them all so much. I think I'm going to hold on to the two Clinique. I am going to get rid of the Call My Blush by Bare Minerals. This is their Gen Nude Powder Blush. I am also going to declutter the Color Icon blush by Wet n Wild in Mellow Wine. I just have other ones that I know I would pull for first. So we're keeping these two, right? Let's see. Yeah, that just feels good. It feels good. Good pigmentation. Yeah, we're going to hold on to these. They're small. They don't take up all that much room. This is Melt Blush Light in Fire Fury, and this one is just a regular powder blush in Honey Thief. This one is a beautiful like glowy blush, and this one is a beautiful like more neutral natural tone blush. I'm going to hold on to both of those. I'm going to hold on to this one because it is new to me, and I just think it's a beautiful like natural tone blush as well. This one is the Kosas Blushes Life in Dreamland. This is the Ciate Marbled Light Blush in Burnt. And God, this is just really such a pretty rosy red pinky blush that has a little bit of luminosity to it because of that marbling, right? I mean, I don't know if you guys can see that luminosity on my hand, but I can, and it's just so pretty, so I will hold on to that. This is the Jouer Coquette Blush Duo. It's got Seduce Me and Tease Me, and I did get a good run with these. I'm going to hold on to it. I'm going to hold on to it for now. Man, I'm not doing super hot, am I? And the Charlotte Tilbury Cheek to Chic in the shade Intense. I think it's Pillow Talk Intense. I do really like this blush, and it is fairly new to me, so I am going to hold on to that one. MAC Warm Soul is like iconic, right? You like really can't get rid of this blush, so I'm going to hold on to that. I think I'm going to get rid of this. This is the Natasha Denona My Mini Dream Glow Blush, and I don't love this. I don't love it at all. So I do think that this can go, and I am totally okay with that. NARS Deep Throat. I think I can get rid of this one too. I feel like I remember that one not doing me any favors from like a texture consideration. This is Hourglass Ambient Strobe Lighting Blush in Incandescent Electra. I got this in a FabFitFun, and it's just a really beautiful, like light, natural, like pinkiness color. A really nice flush to the cheeks. I do think that I want to hold on to that one. This one by Buxom. This is the Wanderlust Primer Infused Blush in Seychelles. This is just such a beautiful like brownie blush. I'm going to hold on to that. I'm not getting rid of any of my bronzers because I do think that they are beautiful, stunning, really deeper in tone, kind of like bronzery blushes, right, in my collection. And I have Kiss of Copper, Kiss of Mauve, and Kiss of Rose. This one, though, I do think that we can declutter. This is the Bare Minerals Gen Nude Powder Blush in On the Mauve. I don't know that I love their Gen Nude blushes, although I really do love that shade. I think I'm going to hold on to that. And then these are also not going anywhere. Some of my favorite products are these blushes here, so I am going to hold on to those too. I'm going to quit swatching now on my hands because look at this. Just from swatching, you guys. This is eczema at its finest. So we are going to be holding on to these two. So these are my cream blushes, and I'm doing them separately because I can't fit all of my blushes here on this table. I don't really feel like cream blush is a problem area for me. I don't really pick up cream blushes, to be honest, but I do know that there are some here that need to go. And some that I know right off the bat that I'm going to keep. These two I know right off the bat I'm keeping. These are Nude Stick Stacks. They just came to me in gratis. They're the new Nude Sticks version of a cream blush. So I am keeping these guys. And these are their old version of a cream blush. I think that these might be like cream to powder, whereas these are straight up cream. I have very similar shades in these, but maybe a little bit more pink and a little bit more orange. So this is in Picante and Juicy Melons. They are their current like cream blush. I've used this one quite a bit. This one is one of those like more crazy colored, like maybe more situational kind of cream blushes, but I am going to hold on to all of my Nude Sticks cream blushes because I do love the Nude Sticks formula. It's a really great cream blush formula. I also know I will be keeping these two cream blushes. So this one is the ColourPop blush stick in the shade Cool It, and you guys can see I must love this, right? Because I've used it quite a bit. I will be holding on to this one. It's kind of relatively new to my collection. I just got it within the last year, That is the shade of it. This one is the Westman Atelier Bubble. This one's interesting. It's a little bit more purple than I anticipated it would be, but it's really super pretty. So Westman Atelier, again, is one of those brands that I just started venturing into, and I really like it. So I am going to hold on to that as well. These two will be staying. These MAC Glow Play blushes are some of my favorite blushes. They are kind of like a putty. They last forever. They're pretty great. So I will be holding on to these two as well. Let's see if we can find some that we're going to declutter. I think that this one needs to go. This is my Tower 28 Beach Please blush in Power Hour. And it kind of is smelling like crayons. I don't think it looks horribly bad, but I do know that this has been in my collection for quite some time. It looks like this has been in my collection since 2021, and I'm just never pulling for it anymore. And it does smell a little off at this point. So this will go. This one is also gonna go. This is actually a relatively new purchase for me, but I pulled it into a Shop My Stash. I didn't love how it looked on my face. I can't see myself using it as a lip balm. I don't love this product, so I am going to declutter this as well. I'm going to declutter this because it's still in its box. It is the Charlotte Tilbury Pinkgasm Beauty Light one. I don't love this. I had this in a mini that I purchased myself. This one I got in gratis. I feel like I hung on to it just because it's the Disney 100 edition, so it's got Tinkerbell on it on the box. It's also got Tinkerbell on the product itself, but I feel like I could, you know, easily put this into a giveaway or give it to somebody else who I know is going to love it. This is, you know, new to me this year and gratis, so I don't really need it. I will hold on to this one though because it is like a really beautiful red blush, and it's really the only red blush I have, so we'll hold on to that. This is Plumberry by Makeup by Mario, and so far this component is not broken, but I feel like that's just so deep, and I don't feel like I can pull this off anymore. And I know that the component is going to break, and I know that this has been in my collection. Well, look at that. The component is kind of breaking already. It doesn't smell bad, but look at how much product there is. Like, I just don't see me ever using that amount of product. And that's just what's above. Who knows what's underneath it. I did get a really good amount of use out of this, but I feel like I need to let this go as well because I don't see myself pulling for that before I pull for like this or like this one that is, you know, slightly pinker. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? But I also feel like I have it in a liquid version that I would pull for so much quicker. I guess it's not the same color, but I would purchase this in that color for sure. I feel like these liquid blushes by Rare Beauty are such an amazing blush. I'm going to be keeping both of them. I do have Hope and Encourage. Hope is more of a corally pinky color. These are liquid blushes that I really love. This one is by Tarte. It is a nice, like, kind of peachy pink as well. It reminds me a lot of this one, but this one is matte and this one is kind of glowy. So I do think that there's a place for both. This one is more of kind of like this, like burnt corally orange color. And I just feel like this one just bounces out really beautifully, kind of shears out really beautifully. So this is a Danessa Myricks lip, cheek, and eye color. What are these called? Like color flushes or something like that? Vision Flush in ballet slippers. One of the first items that I've received that I've ever had from Danessa Myricks. These are beautiful, so I will hold on to these. These are some of my favorite purchases of last year. These are the Polite Pops by Polite Society, like a cream to powder blush stick. Really beautiful, so I will hold on to these. Oops. This also is beautiful. This is the Sun Blush by It Cosmetics. It's kind of like moussey almost, but just a truly beautiful color. This is, I mean, I think that's the shade. Sun Blush? No, Sunlit is the shade. I think they have like 2 or 3 different shades. So when I think about the color that I got rid of from Makeup by Mario, this is one of the biggest reasons why I did. I think that these two are very similar in tone, but this one's just slightly more wearable, and they've been in my collection slightly less time than that one. I do like the cream blushes by LYS. I feel like this one is starting to dry out, so it might, you know, only live one more declutter, but it warms up in my to my fingers just fine, so it still works really well. Those are the 4 colors of those that I have. This one is in the shade Kindness. It's a beautiful like coral color. Obviously it is a full size, and then I picked up the minis, but this one is in the shade Empower. This one is the shade Unforgettable, and this one is the shade Grateful. And I feel like I wear these two the most, but I also really like these two, so I will keep on keeping on with these guys as well. This one doesn't have very long left in my collection, if I'm honest with you, because it doesn't smell horrible right now, but I can foresee this like going bad in the next 12 months. This is Ritual Diffuse Inner Glow Cream Pigment in the shade Desire. I really, really love this shade of blush, so I will hold on to this. This is the Bare Minerals Bounce and Blur in Mauve Sunrise. This is also just really pretty, and formula is a little bit different. Also, it kind of feels like a Super Shock or a creamed powder. It is really subtle though. I don't know if I need to have it in my collection, because ultimately I'm going to pick probably from the ones that I've already saved before I pick from this one. So I do think that I can declutter that one. This one is beautiful. It is in the shade Chai. It's by Beauty Counter. I did think that these two might be closer to the same color. That is the LYS one. This is, oh, I don't know. Do I need this? I don't think I need this. Is it just hard pan in there? That's a very neutral color. I'm going to keep it. I feel like it built up well. And I feel like I remember using it and really actually kind of loving how natural it was on my skin. But then when I think of it against like this one, this definitely is pinker. I'm gonna keep it for now. I've got cream blush everywhere. Yeah, it still smells fine. I don't mind the shade of it, so I'm gonna keep it for now. Then we have these. I'm gonna keep all 3. This is Danessa Myricks Golden Hour. It's one of her Yummy Skin. Again, it's one of those blushes that's kind of more specific to like an event or something like that, but I do really love this blush. I'm just wondering if I need both of these blushes then. Yeah, this one's a little bit more red toned and this one's a little bit more yellow toned, so I'm gonna keep them both. This is a beautiful cream blush by Rose Inc. I fell in love with this, and also you can pop this blush out and put a different blush in here. So I really, really like that. This is in one of those like components that has like the, this is like brushed metal or something like that, and I can't stand touching it. But I do love the stick. It is so pretty, and when blended out, it is also just a really beautiful blush. So I try to handle it as little as possible, but it is pretty and it is relatively new in my collection, so I will be holding on to that. Last but not least, from a cream blush perspective, is this one here. This is my Fenty Cheeks Out blush, the Freestyle Cream Blush in the shade Rosé Latte. This is in my project pan right now, which is why it didn't get in the picture, but I'll be keeping this because it is what I've got in my deck of panning. It's also on my plan to pan for 2025, so we'll be holding on to this as well. All right, so these are what we're decluttering from blushes overall. That includes powder blushes as well. So I do have 3 blush Godettes. I do think that I could potentially get rid of more, but this is what we're decluttering from the blush category. We have 23 that we're decluttering from the blush category. That takes us down to 81. And while I think that that is still absolutely absurd, I think it is less absurd than 104. And I do think that I've made some really great choices here. I have some brand new products that I can pass on to somebody else, and they're going to love them. I'm sure of it. I just need to figure out a way to pass those on to somebody. I also have a lot for like my friends and family to come in and choose from, and only probably like 2 of them are going to go into the garbage, right? From a cream perspective, these are too old to pass on to somebody else. But this one is relatively new. Yes, I've used it, but it's relatively new, so it can stay in here for a few minutes while people decide whether this is something that they want to see or no. So I am happy with the cluttering from my blush collection of 104. The numbers are going to be right here in the screen for you because math is hard today, apparently. So there's that.